GMGP, good morning, good people. Y'all could have been anywhere in the world, but y'all decided to wake up with us. You're sick. You're sick in the head. There's a lot of fantasy football shows out there, but I promise y'all, they not like us. Brock Bowers, you looked a little quicker than fast. What does that even mean? Redraft, dynasty, best ball, high stakes, we got you covered.
And that's MVS and Justin Watson.
With some of the dopest tools designed to help you cancel out the noise and dominate your leagues.
If there's a white wide receiver named Antoine, sign me up.
Maybe it's cultural. I don't know. In season or off season, rain, sleet, hail, and snow,
Comma, semicolon, period, next sentence.
to bring you the most actionable and entertaining content on YouTube. You don't go buy the dip on the Titanic.
Quarterback that you love, D-Bro. One of the best values in fantasy football.
Prop bets with my man JRich.
Yes! Let's go!
So wipe the crust out of your eye, get you a cup of coffee. It's time to wake y'all asses up with Ray
And Jay.
in the morning.
My God.
How good is
Dude.
he? How good is he? Let's get it, baby. GMGP. It is Monday, November 17, 2025. Y'all decided to wake y'all asses up with myself and my brother from another mother, Jordan Richards. You can find him at your boy JRich on X. It's Wake Up with Ray and Jay every Monday, every Wednesday, and every single Friday right here, 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And if you can't join us live, which I hope you can, subscribe to the podcast feed, Wake Up with Ray and Jay. You catch it on replay, no matter where you're at, no matter what part of the country you are, what time it is. If you're too damn lazy to get up early in the morning, you could pull up and check us out. All places, streaming platforms, podcasts can be found. Thank y'all for being in the building today. And the people are already in the chat. JRich, we got a big show today. A lot to talk about. What a week 11 brought us. Already 11 weeks through the NFL season. Crazy, man.
Crazy.
Let's see who's in the building. Patrick, what's going down with you, baby? Monkey Pock in the building. Matt Jones, GMGP. To you, my friend, I hope you are well wherever you are watching the show at. Kev, what's up with you? Yesterday was a weird day for fantasy, man. Football, baby. Football be footballing. We got a lot, JRich. More people in the chat. GMGP to you. Ted McMillan from Sacramento, Kingpin. Superstar McMillan. Well, when Bryce Young plays like that, I think even Xavier Legette looked worthy of a first-round pick. Yes, we are going to talk about what time it is right now. We got Jordan in the chat, Jimbo in the chat, Fredo in the chat, Scribbles, Sean Tucker, RB1 season. And because the Jacksonville Jaguars won, I'm just waiting for Keegan to show up. He's got to be somewhere. He's got to be lurking in the chat somewhere. Keegan, where you at? JRich, have you seen him yet? I ain't even seen him yet.
I have not seen. If there was a day Keegan was going to show up, this is the day.
This is the day.
We dogged him a few days ago. But now, not looking so bad for old Keegan. Keegan's stock is way up. Trevor's stock is way up.
Those Keegan stocks are way up. JRich, how you doing, man?
Turn down your speakers a little bit. They're a little bit too loud.
Is that better? They complain about the volume sometimes. All right, there we go. How you doing?
But I'm good, man. I'm good. It was a great weekend of football. Some phenomenal games, some great upsets. You know, I think, Ray, because you and I do the Bleacher Report picks every week Denver wins. I'm just like, oh, man, they just keep doing it. I don't know how they do it, but they keep doing it. It was a great weekend of football. People are already saying in the chat, for fantasy purposes, so, depending on which players you had and which teams you're in on. But I enjoyed it, man. It was a great weekend of football. Definitely some of the picks I had won, so that's always good. And I'm sure there'll be lots of 9 conversation because 9 is the talk of the town every
Nines,
week, baby.
JRich, those 9s. We will talk about the 9s, but if you did miss any of the content on this channel or on DDFFB, go back and check out the content. Jay, I dropped the mock on Friday. It was like mock draft season on Friday. Everybody was dropping mock drafts on Friday. I think McShay put one out. This was on the back of Brugler doing some stuff, but I dropped one on Friday talking through all 32 picks in the 2026 NFL draft. And as I'm doing the mock, Kansas City's picking at 7. This was prior to this weekend, 17, prior to this weekend's worth of games, Jay. And in the mock, I'm like, yeah, not a chance they're going to be picking inside the top 20 come 2026. No way. And then you look at where the damn Chiefs are today following
15.
Sunday's action, and it's like, well, you know what, Ray, you were right. They won't be picking at 17 because it looks like they'll be picking even higher than that come 2026. So make sure you check out the mock. More NFL draft content coming this week. But JRich, we got a lot to talk about, man. We got a lot to discuss, a lot of football that happened yesterday. But you want to just start with the Let's start with the Sunday night game. You want to just start with the Sunday night game and talk about what we saw and then get into some injuries and then get into some of the bigger storylines coming out of week 11.
Yeah, I mean, in classic Eagles fashion, it was an absolute stinker, 16-9 for the Philadelphia Eagles. You and I talked about it on Bleacher Report. This team finds ways to win games. It's not necessarily because we believe that they should win every game, but they find ways to win games, ugly or not. I mean, Jalen Hurts, 135 yards, 50% completion. Only sacked once. Saquon Barkley, 26 carries, 83 yards, no touchdowns. Jalen Hurts did get a tush push into the end zone because Barkley was down at the half-yard line, and they fed A.J. Brown, right? A.J. Brown got 11 targets to Devontae Smith's. Let me check that there. 5 for him.
Yeah, he didn't do anything.
7 for 49, not exactly what you're looking for. What did Jalen Hurts have to say in the postgame following the victory over
Well,
the
they were
Lions?
asking, I think the big talking point with this game, Philly got it done. They got the win. They improved to, 8-2 on the season, the Philadelphia Eagles, and the Lions fell to, 6-3 now?
They're now 6-4,
6-4.
and they are second in the division, right? And technically, they are not in the playoffs.
Yeah, technically not in the playoffs. But watching the game, the common theme was it was very obvious that either Kevin Petula or Jalen Hurts or Nick Sirianni or somebody said, we're going to force feed the ball to A.J. Brown. And they force fed it to him 11 times. Look, man, I'm just watching and I'm like, man, maybe you should try throwing the ball to number 6. Get the ball to Devontae Smith. The explosives still weren't there. There was a play where Hurts took a deep shot to A.J. Brown. A.J. Brown slowed down on the route. Again, here we go again with Brown slowing down on the route. Those 11 targets, they equaled 7 catches for 49 yards for A.J. Brown. The Eagles got the win. Smith, 1 catch, 8 yards. Dallas Goedert, 2 catches in the game. Saquon Barkley was fed like a bell cow, 83 yards. Lane Johnson got injured early in the game. The offense still looks a mess. Like it still looks...
Yeah, and Cam Jurgens didn't play either, right? He was out. Game.
It doesn't look. The offense still does not look good. And here in the thing, they're asking him. Jalen Hurts said, "I'm just going with the flow of the game and how it was called. Just going out there try to execute." Reporter says, "So it wasn't an effort to get him the football." Hurts said that may be a KP question.
I love when these coaches say, just ask the coach. Ask Zach. Ask KP, right?
A.J. Brown last night, JRich. A.J. Brown said this team is resilient. We show up, we work hard, and find a way to win no matter what it looks like. We know one thing is we're going to show up and we're going to fight. That was A.J. Brown after the game last night. Thoughts on how Philly looked overall?
They looked no different than they do every week, honestly. They look like a terrible offense, and they have a phenomenal defense led by an amazing group of players and a great defensive coordinator. Ever since I got Vic Fangio, Ray, I've talked about how good he is and how good of a job he does shutting down other teams' players. Now, he wasn't able to contain Jahmyr Gibbs because Jahmyr Gibbs did go off for 100 through the air, even though they didn't do a whole lot on the ground, but they did so much to just make Jared Goff's life hell. He went 4 for 37, Ray. He still had 255 yards, a touchdown, and a pick, but a 9.5 QBR, which is out of 100. So he's below the 10th percentile.
Look at this.
And really struggled in this game.
Goff, when Eagles pressured him on 14 dropbacks, he had 12 attempts, 0 completions, 2 sacks for negative 12 yards. And I'm telling you right now, there were a lot of people out there, JRich, who said the Eagles overpaid for Jalen Phillips. Through 2 games, it does not appear to be so. Jalen Phillips looks fantastic for Philadelphia right now. I believe he had 8 pressures in his first game with Philly. He had 4 pressures in this game. Sacked Jared Goff. He was all over the place.
2 hits too.
Yeah, he looked outstanding. Jalen Carter played well. Jordan Davis was playing awesome. That defensive line was crazy good. They were very, very good last night for Philadelphia, which helped them on the back end. Talking about the Lions, the rushing attack, I believe they ran the ball 21 times as a total collective unit for less than 60 yards. They couldn't get a damn 74. Thing going on. Yeah, they couldn't get a damn thing going on the ground. Monty nor Gibbs on the ground were any type of factor in this game. Gibbs balled out in the receiving game, 5 for 107, and he just plays at a different speed. Jahmyr Gibbs just play him. the two players that just look noticeably faster than just about everybody else when they touch the ball, Devon Achane and Jahmyr Gibbs. They
Angle
move at
eaters.
completely different speeds, Jay. But, the other big-time player coming out of this game was Jamison Williams. J-Mo had a big night last night, a big penalty here. They actually missed a damn extra point after this. Like, come on. NFL and their flags for sportsmanship, like, come on, man.
I mean, they've thrown this one before, though.
I get it,
we know this is a flag.
But still, the hypocrisy. You're flagging Trey McBride for pointing first down. You're flagging this, yet we got full-fledged gambling scandals with the mafia running rampant through sports, and you want to give people 15-yard penalties for having fun after going into the end zone? Like, come on. It's laughable, Jay. But Jamison Williams, big day, 88 yards, touchdown. And did you know J-Mo now has, I believe, 4 touchdowns in his last 5 games. This is 3 straight games for a touchdown for Jamison Williams. I know it was a little rocky to start the year, but ever since that coach speak came out that they were going to get him more involved in the offense, that has absolutely happened for the Detroit Lions. With Sam Laporta being out, a lot of people thought it would be an uptick in usage for Amon-Ra. Didn't really happen for him this week. He got his customary 12 targets, but only 2 catches. Did not convert those into meaningful production. Shit happens, right? I'm not going to panic on Amon-Ra St. Brown. It happens. He had a bad game. We move forward to the next week. And I think they have a bye, don't they? No, the Lions had an early bye.
Give me a sec.
Lions had an early bye because I remember Gibbs was in his snuggie. So, yes, get right spot versus the Giants next. Yeah, they should be all right.
Yeah, once a team loses a game, it seems like they have the Giants on the schedule the next week in a get-right spot, Packers did this week. So the Lions have them at home next week. Going into Thursday Night Football against the Packers, that's on Thanksgiving.
All right, Jay, let's get into some injury news, right? We got injuries. Week 11 injuries you see right here on the screen. Key injuries to watch. Drake London, Josh Jacobs, Aaron Rodgers, Michael Penix, Dylan Gabriel, Bajal Tuten, Chimere Dike, Tyler Higbee, Emery DeMarcado, and more. Injuries galore this past Sunday. JRich, where are you most concerned? What's kind of standing out to you right now, and what are the immediate takeaways with some of these injuries?
I think the biggest one right now is the Atlanta injuries, right? So Michael Penix is a knee. You could call it a setback if you want. Obviously, he's been playing, but he had a bone bruise early in the year, missed a game in the knee with his knee, and then it's the same knee that he injured in this game against Carolina. So we don't know the extent of the injury yet, but it's the same knee that he injured previously during the season. And then Drake London, we're still getting an MRI to confirm his injury, but it's not expected to be serious, but he is expected to miss some time. The theme of this week is MRI is coming today. Player's probably going to miss time, but it's probably not serious or season ending. Very similar with Josh Jacobs. Josh Jacobs is the exact same situation where it's feared to be not serious in terms of him missing the season or missing a lot of weeks, but definitely potentially could miss some weeks and some time as a whole.
I'm not buying it. They said this about Travis Hunter a couple of weeks ago too. They ruled Jacobs out real quick. When Jacobs left, they went to the tent, and the next thing you know, it was a trip to the locker room, and then it was immediate, hey, he's out. He's going to be out, but it's not that serious. I'm not buying it, Jay. I'm not buying it.
I mean, we'll see, right? We have to figure out what the injuries are. So Jacobs, MRI today, along with London and Penix. Gabriel, concussion. So we'll have to wait and see what his status looks like. Maybe he'll be ruled out early. And since we're here, Ray, there was also reports over the weekend that CJ Stroud might not play this week as well with his concussion that he's been dealing with. So anyone who's banking on CJ Stroud this week, maybe look to find some other arrangements. There could be some quarterbacks on the wire who are available. Kirk Cousins is definitely a guy who could be available, and potentially Mason Rudolph as well, because Aaron Rodgers does have a minor fracture in his left hand. Obviously, he's a right-handed quarterback, but there's still concerns over whether or not he can play quarterback effectively if he can only hold the ball with one hand. But Ian Rappaport was on Good Morning Football this morning talking about the injury, and he said that he heard from sources close to Rodgers that there is a chance he could play as early as this week, and that his probability is as high as 50-50
I saw that
going into this weekend, which is pretty crazy to have a fractured left hand and still play quarterback. Very similar to Jaden Daniels missing time with his elbow injury. Obviously, it's not his throwing elbow, but you still have to have stability within that elbow to play quarterback, or you're just going to fumble every single play. outside of that, nothing too major for me. Bashal Tuten, we'll see what the status of his injury is. Tyler Higbee may miss some time with that ankle.
That's the one who went out and didn't come back in was Tuten, right? That was the running back. I think when he went out, he didn't come back in. It was Travis.
Are you sure? It must have been late then that he went out.
Was it late? I thought it was Tuten. One of them went out and did not come. It may have been
because I thought I saw him getting carries in the fourth quarter. Now Higbee didn't return. Higbee didn't play the second half of that game. And there was split snaps with Ferguson and Parkinson, who obviously scored the touchdown for the Rams. But that's kind of, we'll see. I mean, we're not too worried about the Rams tight ends anyways. And then DK, I mean, he plays for the Titans, so no ramifications there. The big ramifications are Jacobs and the Falcons players, because with how Kirk Cousins looked in this last game, I don't know if you really want Kirk Cousins starting at quarterback, but you haven't really wanted to see Michael Penix out there either. And then obviously whatever happens with Drake London, we'll find out this week as well. But yeah, quite a few injuries coming out of this weekend. Hopefully nothing too major, but definitely in those top three guys, we may see some time missed from them. And then we'll see what happens with Rodgers. But in the case of the Pittsburgh Steelers, not a whole lot of fantasy value there.
Yeah, and people say the hip drop was the DeMarcado one, I believe.
Okay.
It looked like that, but honestly, when Brissett threw the ball 60 times, there wasn't a lot of running going on in that game either. Arizona was in comeback mode big time against San Francisco, which we'll talk about here shortly, JRich. But we got to get into the show because, I mean, the biggest news of the it was such large news, JRich. My wife, who was watching no football all Sunday, didn't watch an ounce of that football. But when Shedeur Sanders was coming into the game, and I said, "Hey, babe, they got Shedeur in." She rushed out of that shower, JRich. She rushed out of that shower to watch that TV to see what that Sanders was doing. And you know what she said? You know what my wife said?
Should have stayed in the shower?
Should have said they're setting that boy up to fail. JRich said they're setting him up to fail. Setting him up to fail. Sanders in the game this weekend. Yesterday, he got in the action after the aforementioned Dillon Gabriel was knocked out with a concussion. He wasn't playing well either. Yeah. It was Shedeur time, JRich. It was Shedeur time. Sanders was on the field. What'd you say?
It was perfect timing.
It was perfect timing, but not so perfect on the field. There were a lot of things that came out of this game, okay? Sanders completed, 4 of 16 passes?
4 of 16 passes,
4 of
for
16
yards.
For 47 yards, no touchdowns, 1 interception, 13.5 passer rating, 2 sacks taken, 1 scramble for a first down for 4 yards, and a celly after that first down. Celebration, down, throwing picks, but we'll celebrate that first down. He gets in the game, and I mean, it was clearly not planned. It wasn't like he was in the game because Kevin Stefanski said, we just need to switch up at quarterback. Hell, Stefanski's already come out to say Dillon Gabriel remains QB1. He will start against the Raiders if he clears concussion protocol. Sanders will start if Gabriel is not cleared by next Sunday. Kevin Stefanski also confirmed Shedeur ain't getting no playtime with those starters in practice, JRich. Hey, you get no starting first-team snaps with the offense. And despite it all, JRich, if you watch the game, he was this close to tying it up. Somehow.
He had a chance.
That throw, I don't know who number 84 is. Never heard of him a day in my life, that receiver. It would have been a difficult grab. It would have been a difficult grab, but Chidobe Awuzie had his arm in there.
That was a great play.
Jerry Jeudy would have come down with that. If that was Jeudy, if that was Ced Tillman, they would have caught the ball. They would have caught the ball. He had his team right there. I mean, it was a good throw. It was a good play. Ultimately, though, the game was, you know what the Ravens did? You know what Baltimore did as soon as he got in? They sent some exotic blitz package right at him immediately. They got Kyle Hamilton coming down the middle. They got cornerbacks coming off the edge. I mean, they said, we are going to put foot on neck immediately, JRich. There was no drop coverage. They had 8 at the line of scrimmage. They had 8 at the line, then they dropped 2. Sanders didn't know what the hell was going on out there. It was a bad showing, JRich. But honestly, did anybody expect him to come in? And we were in the group chat. What did I say? I said, INT. What was the play call, Jay? What did I call in the group chat before it happened?
Yeah, you called a play action interception, and like probably 2 or 3 plays later, it was
the first play. It was the first play after the interception. I said, I bet you they run a play action and he throws a pick, and they ran a play action.
To Kyle Hamilton, and he dropped it,
and he threw it right to Kyle Hamilton. Like that. Come on, man. Like, I don't know what people expected being dropped in that situation.
Ray, people expected him to ball the hell out.
No, man.
But this is the problem, man. Right? And this is where you forget that we are, for everything that we talk about, and we're leading with Shedeur Sanders, who had a 2.4 QBR. We talked about how bad Jared Goff was with his 9 QBR. Sanders was even worse than that. It's the fact that people still think he's a really good quarterback. And it's not to say that he can't be a good quarterback, but we're realistic in terms of what we expect from Sanders, filling in on the Browns, knowing that he's probably barely even practicing, not even giving a shit because he's not expecting to play. And it's like, yeah, he looked bad, obviously. He's playing against the Ravens defense that is much better than they looked at the start of the season and do have a ton of talented playmakers, but he was also not good. Like, I think both things can be true, but there's definitely people out there who's like, "Oh man, just give Sanders a chance. He's gonna ball the hell out. He's gonna turn the Browns around.
Let's be real here.
He
got thrown in the game with no. Stefanski already said he don't practice. The damn offensive lineman came out to say we ain't practiced with this dude. We don't know his cadence. We don't know anything. Like this visceral. The frustrating part is people. I think in life it's easy to pile on the down thing, right? It's easy to just pile on and dump. But the real reality, you get thrown in that situation for a team. How did they look prior to that? They didn't look good prior to that.
No, they didn't look good.
They're not a good football team. They don't have a good coach right now. They don't have talent on the outside. They can't run the damn ball with Quinshon Judkins. The best thing about the Cleveland Browns is Myles Garrett, and that's full stop. Him and Denzel Ward and Carson Schlesinger. Their defense kept them in that game. If they had a functional starting quarterback, they should have won that game. Lamar Jackson was awful.
Sure.
The Ravens were bad. Outside of Derrick Henry ripping off a couple of runs, they gave Cleveland every opportunity to win it. But come on, let's just be real. Like, he wasn't coming in this game and going 10 for 10 and driving down the field and beating the Baltimore Ravens in his first live NFL action. What reality world were people living in to where they thought that was a reasonable expectation? It was never going to happen like that. And the damn coach doesn't even want him out there. They were calling timeouts. Stefanski was somewhere else, listening and talking, updating his Indeed profile because he's not going to have a head coaching job in Cleveland after this season. The debut was not good, but what did you really, really expect from him being thrown in this spot?
No, I didn't expect anything. But that's because I know the quarterback that he is, know the team he plays on, and I'm just realistic about the expectations, right? We do give rookies a pass in, their first couple of games. We understand, like, they're still learning how to play in the NFL. You saw the blitzes that were thrown his way. It's like, yeah, he's not going to have a clue what's going on because he's never seen anything like this before. This is the NFL, and he's never played in the NFL. But there's definitely a flock of people out there who don't watch this show, who aren't realistic about his expectations and did think he could maybe turn things around. And more importantly, Ray, when he got in the game, they were winning the football game. It's not like they were losing and they had to come all the way back to win and he couldn't quite get them there. Like, they were actually leading the football game. But you just knew once he came in, they're like, man, the Ravens are just licking their chops right now. They know they have a sitting duck back there at quarterback that has no clue what he's doing. And they took advantage of it and won the football game because of it. And that's just, football. But I think at the same time, right, you look to any backup quarterback, we do expect some level of competency, but definitely for a rookie, it's a very difficult spot.
We got to stop this. Ricky, he says, Ray, he was your QB1 back in early April. We're in fucking November, right? Dane Brugler had Drew Aller as his QB1 to start the season. So what, right? After he wasn't QB1, did we not? You pivot. You pivot. Cam Ward was your QB1. How does he look? Pretty damn awful in Tennessee. So let's stop with the pre-draft takes from 8 months ago. We all know he wasn't QB1 after he wasn't drafted as the QB1. Like, that ship is gone and sailed. So thank you for bringing that back up, which adds zero to the conversation today. But to your point, Jay, the expectation for him at this point is nothing. Like, Cleveland's going to be drafting another quarterback in 2026. They or signing a veteran quarterback. They have to.
Yeah.
Neither of these two quarterbacks, the third rounder in Dillon Gabriel, nor Shedeur Sanders, are probably long. And once Stefanski goes, do you think the new head coach is going to come in and say, yeah, I want to make it work with one of these two guys? The answer is no. The answer is
Watson.
Unequivocally no. It is a full quarterback reset in Cleveland. Full quarterback reset, top to bottom. Their starter, their backup, and the backup to the backup should all be replaced in 2026. And give him a chance. See what he can do. If Gabriel is out, he'll get a week of practice with the starters. Who do the Browns play next week? Who do they play next week? Give him a shot. Give him some runway. Let him practice. Who they have?
Ooh, they got a good matchup too. They are headed
the Raiders.
To Vegas.
It's the Raiders. I remembered it was the Raiders.
They're headed to Vegas. Yeah.
All right. Let's see if Gabriel is out. We can get a fair assessment of what he looks like in that one start. Right. But I just want people to keep this same energy when we get to 9. When we get to 9, I want people to have that same level of energy once we get to 9. But obviously it wasn't. Obviously his play in this one wasn't good. Like, what did you expect? It was not good. 4 for 17. Yeah. The interception was dreadful. That could have been 2. I don't know why he keeps spinning and taking sacks. Just throw the damn ball. But things were probably going a million miles per hour. And he said after the game, I don't know if you heard him talk after the game about telling the fans to not boo like Dillon Gabriel. When he's out there, we're supporting our player. And he's like, it's putting me in a spot like I'm doing something and I'm not. He said, I'm just standing on the sideline. So he was like, support our team, support our quarterback. You saw a lot of Browns players come out in support of him after the game. And there was a buzz in the building when he got in there.
Of course.
Anytime he did anything, it was like buzzy, right?
Yeah, people want to see him play. And that's why when I say, like, people think he's a good quarterback and think he's going to find success in the NFL and want him to find that success. And even for me, like, I think it's better for this show and just for the media in general if Sanders is good, but it is what it is, and he still has to go through those growing pains. He's still a very young, inexperienced quarterback.
Very young, very inexperienced on a very bad team that should have a new head coach next year. Now, from one awful quarterback performance to the best one that we've seen all season long, JRich, Josh Allen. My God.
My MVP.
Jay, it started out rough too because he was out there. He was looking stank early, and then it was like you don't even remember the interceptions. You don't remember any of it because Josh Allen put on the cape and said, "I got it." He grabbed that final soul stone, put it in the infinity gauntlet, boom, snapped his finger and erased everything. Absolutely wiped the floor with Tampa Bay. 3 passing touchdowns. 3 rushing touchdowns, the highest fantasy finish of the season at the quarterback position here, and that's with 2 interceptions on the day.
Mm-hmm.
This is with Tyrell Shavers being his leading receiver. This is with James Cook not running for more than 50 yards in the game. JRich, this is with against a team that they had a running back score 3 touchdowns in the game. You tell me Tampa Bay gets 3+ rushing touchdowns. I'm like, they won the game, baby. They won. Yeah. Baker ran one in. I'm like, oh, let's go. They win the game. Not so fast. Josh Allen, the damn man. Talk about the performance, Jay. I think he set the all-time quarterback rushing touchdown mark. He's best Cam Newton, so he's the leader in NFL history in rushing touchdowns. He's one of, I believe, 3 or 4 players to have 3 and 3 in the same game ever, and he's done it. He did it last year versus the Rams. Just talk about this performance from Allen and the Bills.
Yeah, historically great, right? This is why when you asked me when he lost to Miami if this is the end of the Josh Allen MVP campaign, I said no, it's not over because this is what he's capable of, and especially from a down week from Matthew Stafford, like people are going to start to say like, hey, look, man, Buffalo's not a very good team, and that's one of the reasons why Josh Allen is an MVP caliber player, because he is clearly the most valuable player on the team. Even against Miami, when they looked terrible, Josh Allen still looked like the best player on the field. It was just the players around him and the team was not executing at the level they needed to beat Miami, and that's going to happen in the NFL when you're not a very good football team. But Josh Allen is more than capable of a big performance like this, and I think that's what's interesting about this game in particular, is that Keon Coleman didn't play in this game. He was a healthy scratch. And Deion Dawkins talked about it after the game because reporters asked him, what's going on with that situation. And he just flat out said, he's like, I talked to Keon. And Keon knows what he needs to do better, and he needs to grow up, and he needs to just be a more professional type of player, because it's a professional environment. You just need to be a professional. You need to grow up. You need to get about your business better. And I remember the reports in preseason about Tyrell Shavers and how much they liked him. Not that I expected him to be anything.
Stop.
But if he's a player,
you don't remember a damn thing about Tyrell Shavers from the preseason. That's a lie.
I do. I 100% remember people talking about Tyrell Shavers, and particularly Josh Allen talking about Tyrell Shavers. And it's not that I think he's going to be anything, but if a team likes you, Josh Allen likes you, you work hard in practice, and they see it every day. I have no idea how long he's been on the team, but he's been at least on the team since preseason training camp sometime there. And they talked about his work ethic and how hard he works. If Keon Coleman, who is a not quite first round pick because he wasn't, isn't delivering his part, why not give Shavers a chance if he's working hard in practice? And clearly it worked out on the field as well. Now, what do they do with Keon? I don't know, but clearly Shavers did a good job both off the field and on the field to earn that opportunity, and he may continue to earn opportunity going forward as well, because Buffalo's offense did look pretty good. Josh Allen did have to put on the cape, but even with all of that, the offense did look good. They put up a ton of points on a pretty strong Tampa Bay defense. So we're going to see what happens moving forward, but Josh Allen, once again, is back in the MVP conversation because it was just one bad week. But guess what? He came back with an even better week. And that's just what Josh Allen does. He carries his team on his back. He's one of the highest paid players in the NFL for a reason, and he's the reigning MVP because he can do stuff like this.
Yeah, Josh Allen was awesome in this matchup, JRich. Allen was great in this one. He wasn't the only great player in this game, JRich, because the running back on the other side of the ball, Sean Tucker. Okay, and I believe we talked a little Tucker prior to Friday, and on Yahoo, our bold predictions thing. This was because I thought Bucky was still going to play. Remember we were talking about it, and we were discussing, was Bucky going to play? And I'm like, hey man, I'm riding with Sean Tucker. And I wrote about it. I said, this is a dude who's going to score a touchdown this week, even if Bucky Irving is on the field. And then Bucky Irving was not on the field. And if you watch the beginning of the game, Jay, if you watch the beginning of that game, Rachaad White looked good. He was out there first. He got the first crack at it. I think he got the first couple of rush attempts. Yeah. And I thought it was Sean Tucker exploding through the line because it was explosive. He was finishing runs. I think he picked up a couple of first downs on the first drive. I'm like, damn, man, that call that I had that Sean Tucker was going to score, I was like, man, this is not looking good. That they're going to get me in the comments, right?
Oh, yeah.
Not so fast, my friend. Sean Tucker, 3 of them things. Not 1, not 2, but 3. He was dominant on the ground. He had over 100 yards on the ground, another 30 through the air, 2 touchdowns on the ground, 1 through the air. Jay, I'm going to say this, man. I'm going to say this. He feels, to me, Sean Tucker feels very much, this situation feels very much like Atlanta, I guess this would be a decade ago, 10 years ago, when they had Devonta Freeman and Tevin Coleman, when they had Michael Turner was behind LT a long time ago, right? When they had an established number 1 and you knew there was a good number 2 running back behind the starter that could probably be a starter somewhere else. Now, I do think that he is much better than Tevin Coleman, and Michael Turner was really good. When he got his starting really opportunity in Atlanta, coming from San Diego at the time, he was also very good in the NFL. That's what it feels like we have with Sean Tucker. And the thing is, his collegiate profile was outstanding coming out of Syracuse, right? That final season, you could say what you want about that, but I think that was Dino at the head coach at that time at Syracuse. But what caused Tucker to drop was the heart issue. It was the medicals that were discovered through the draft process. Now he's in year 3. He's kind of paid his dues in Tampa Bay. He's been the backup. He's been the scout team guy. He's been the healthy scratch. Now they're giving him opportunity, and he is thriving inside of this situation. I think this is one of the best kept. There are a couple of running backs right now you look across the league and you say they could be starters on some other team. Sean Tucker absolutely fits that bill. And when I think when Bucky Irving comes back, this is a 1A, 1B situation. Even Rachaad White's still going to play too. but I don't think they bottle this back up, tell Sean Tucker to go away and say, we're going to give it all to Bucky Irving, who's dealt with shoulder, foot, all type of different ailments and issues. And he's not a big running back himself. So talk about the performance. What do you think happens with Tucker once Irving is eventually back? How do you think this thing plays out?
Yeah, I mean, if you're Tampa Bay right now, I see no reason to not at least give Sean Tucker opportunity moving forward. Now, the question really is how does Bucky Irving fit into what's already going very well? Because I think you look at this backfield right now, you say Rachaad White's not a good player, but he really complements Sean Tucker well, right? Sean Tucker, primary rusher, great on first and second down, and you bring in Rachaad White as the pass pro guy, as the receiving back, and he can still run between the tackles as well. So now you have Bucky Irving, and you view him as a do-it-all back. I would imagine he's not as good on pass pro as Rachaad White, and he's probably a better runner than Sean Tucker, but you still want to give Sean Tucker those opportunities. So I think it'll be interesting to see how they manage all of that, because it seems like at least right now, all three players have kind of earned the right to play, but I'm not sure what you do because Bucky is banged up. He's missed, almost 2 months of the season now because he's been out for so long. Why not just kind of ease him back into the offense a little bit? Ultimately, this team is not playing for a playoff berth. Now, to be fair to them, they are only one game ahead of the Carolina Panthers right now in the division, but even still, they're playing for the long term. And so I think easing Bucky into the offense slowly, not giving him 20 carries in his first game back makes a lot of sense. But I think that's where you look to, again, the kind of the fantasy angle a little bit. Sean Tucker will probably be usable for the next couple weeks, but I think down the line, further into the fantasy playoffs, you may start to see more Bucky Irving take over some of that share. And we'll have to just figure out how they plan on managing Rachaad White and Sean Tucker. Because I could see a scenario where Sean Tucker does kind of become a 6-7 carry back guy, kind of just spelling Bucky Irving a bit. But then again, there is the world where maybe it's just a full-blown committee, 3 backs, 20 snaps a game, 10 to 15 opportunities each. It's going to be very difficult to manage because Sean Tucker was that good in this game and definitely has earned opportunity moving forward. And it'll be tough to figure out how they manage it, but we'll have to just play it week to week, see how the running backs are utilized, and kind of figure out what our decision is from there.
Well, they've got a good rushing attack without Irving right now. And you add Bucky to this offense and it gets better because he's an extremely, incredibly talented running back. This is not a knock Bucky Irving thing, but in this world in which you see multiple teams thriving with multiple backs, it's hard to put like that juice. I don't care if it was against the Bills defense or what. You're not catching him. He is a fast, explosive runner. So, if that's what they're going to have to do is lean on that ground game, this would be a player that I would want to acquire in Dynasty. Absolutely. As a throw-in, I bought him this week. I got him this week
like a second-round pick.
I got him this week for pennies, man. I got him this week for pennies going into the week. And if Bucky Irving is announced, he is the starter. I don't think there's any question about that. There will be people who think this ride is over. You can look at the chat. Some people say relax, overrated, Bucky's way different. So don't. Here's what you don't do in Dynasty. You don't count somebody else's pockets. I don't care what you think you can get for him or what is it. Go try. Go see if you can get him tossed into a deal, especially when Irving is announced that he's going to return. I guess he was close. He practiced all last week. You know what he's probably going to do this week, Jay? Probably going to practice a little harder. He's probably like, you know what? Let me get on the field. Right? Let me get back on the field because, he wasn't a first-round pick either. He was a fourth-round pick. So Bucky Irving, good stuff. And for those of y'all that don't follow the content, I told y'all that he was going to do it this week. Literally, I said, hey, Bucky's getting in the end zone this week, JRich. I told the editors 3 touchdowns, but they only put 1 up there. They said it was a little too bold by old GQ. So we are going to take a break, JRich. We're going to take no, we're not. No break yet because we're just going to get to this now and then we'll break after this because I don't want to talk about this following the break. I don't want to ruin people's appetite early in the morning after the break. But talk about this one, JRich. Talk about the game. Talk about the field level view of Jamar Chase, Jamar Owens out there, and Jalen Ramsey. He's
playing the part now.
And Jalen Ramsey. Chase was obviously frustrated on the day because things weren't going his way. They weren't going the Cincinnati Bengals way. And then this happens. Jamar Chase visibly in 4K, this might be an 8K camera, JRich spits on Jalen Ramsey, and then all hell broke out. Jalen Ramsey, you could hear him after the game, JRich.
No audio on that, but that's okay.
No audio. You can't hear the audio. Jalen Ramsey says he spit on him, and Chase nonchalantly, they actually had to put community notes under this because he told a lie. So X and Elon Musk put some community notes there. Jamar Chase nonchalantly, I didn't spit on anybody. I don't know what he's talking about. I mean, and the cavalierness in his conversation rubbed a lot of people the wrong way. But talk about this incident with Jamar Chase. He is likely headed for a Week 12 suspension.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to see, right, Ray? Because there was also the report that Dak Prescott didn't spit on anybody. And, you know, some of the video from that might say otherwise. But yeah, I'd say based off the Jalen Carter suspension, that Jamar Chase will probably not be available for next week. He's probably going to be suspended because obviously this wasn't caught during the game. And it's funny because they play the Patriots next week. So I'm pretty happy about that because they won't have Jamar Chase. But yeah, the game was pretty bad. This incident was honestly kind of the storyline of the game because, I mean, when you lose to Mason Rudolph after Aaron Rodgers went out in the middle of the game, that's not a good look for you for the Cincinnati Bengals. But more importantly, this for the Bengals is bad, not only in the standpoint of this is a game they really needed to win, but like you look at their schedule, they have the Patriots, the Ravens, the Bills, the Ravens. Like, those are not winnable games at all with the way this team is playing, especially if one of your best players is going to be inactive for one of those games. And Joe Burrow is making every effort to come back on Thanksgiving in a week, basically, because it's in
y'all gotta stop.
days.
Nah, man, y'all gotta stop in the chat. Y'all gotta stop. Use some common effort. It didn't look intentional. I don't think he did it on purpose. Like, stop it. Stop. Y'all are the type of people who, as parents, their kid would go out there and do shit that they have no business doing, yet you defend them until the end. Stop it. Call an ace and a spade. He didn't do it on purpose. Why would you get sick? You spit on somebody in the street, you're getting your damn block knocked off. Like, you don't do that, man. You do not spit at somebody. First of all, you don't touch nobody. Keep your hands to yourself, right? You touch somebody, you deserve to get touched back. You spit on somebody, you deserve to get your ass beat. That is what it is. Jalen Ramsey should have took that helmet off and beat the brakes off of Jamar Chase. That's what he should have done. Mm-hmm. That's what he should have done. You don't, and then to sit here, it didn't look intentional. You face to face with somebody and you spit. That is no accident. That ain't like
easily
just
turn
that
your
ain't
head,
mist
right?
coming out because you're animated. You hawk some stuff up and you spit on somebody. Y'all got to stop that shit, man. Stop it.
Yeah, it's crazy. But Jamar Chase decided to do it. He will probably not be active next game.
Y'all got to stop. I'm not trying to hear it. Stop. You could clearly see in the video a wad of spit come out. Like, come on, man. Y'all got to stop with that. You don't want to give Shedeur that pass for no practice, but you want to give him a pass because he just accidentally hawked the loogie out of his mouth onto somebody else's body. Come on, man, Jay. We're going to take a break. When we get back, we got a lot more to talk about, including one of the biggest whiffs, probably, JRich, of the entire 2025 football season. Hit the thumbs up button, like the content, subscribe to the channel. Be right back after the break. Back to the stream. Welcome back to the show. This is Wake Up with Ray and Jay every Monday, every Wednesday, every Friday, right here on the channel, 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. We have a good time every time, and we ask you to do a couple of things. Support the channel by subscribing to the work, subscribing to the content, showing that love, showing that support, watching the videos once they're posted, engaging in the comments, hit the thumbs up button, like the stream. Really helps us grow and continue to build this thing that we're trying to do over here to entertain y'all multiple times a week for free. 99. If you're a member to any of the channels, much love. We appreciate that as well. If you did miss some of the content on the channel on Friday, I did drop a 2026 round one mock draft. I went all 32 picks. JRich, highly suggest you tapping into that one. Some good ball talk and conversation. I try to do a little more than just make a pick, talk through what teams may need. Saw somebody this morning say, Ray, I hope you gave the Ravens a D lineman, and I did do that. Peter Woods fell to 13 to the Baltimore Ravens in this mock. So check out the mock on the channel. More coming this week, JRich. But in light of that, and in kind of going along with that theme, JRich, as we get back to some NFL stuff, I think the biggest whiff that was suffered at the hands of analysts this year, and I don't know if you saw this graphic, Jay, but I'm watching ball on Saturday. We're trying to figure out, right, this class, this 2026 class. JRich, take a look at this. Take a look at this from a few months ago, JRich, just a few short weeks ago. This was the Field Yates, not just quarterback rankings, JRich. This was overall players in the 2026 NFL draft class, Jay.
Yikes.
Number 1, Arch Manning. Number 2, Lenore Sellers. Number 3 overall, Cade Klubnik. 9th overall, Sam Levitt. 11th overall, Drew Aller. And the 16th overall player in 2026, JRich, Garrett Nussmeier. Jay, can you remember a bigger collective community whiff than what we have right now? Honestly, these are 6 quarterbacks who a lot of people, and now people want to backtrack and say, oh, we didn't think it was a good class. We just didn't know. Bullshit. 6 quarterbacks inside the top 16, JRich. Not one single solitary person on this screen is in the mix to be a first-round quarterback this year. How bad was this? And I'm just asking you, your opinion. If this is what it was supposed to be, and the 2 guys who were billed as the top clear-cut guys right now weren't even on the radar, how much of it is us wish-casting something to be versus them really being high-level NFL quarterbacks when not a single solitary soul had them guys inside of anywhere outside the top 6, JRich? How bad does it look? What does it mean?
I mean, it's a terrible look, right? It is a terrible look. I mean, Arch Manning 101, that's where it all just begins, right? You and I and a lot of smart people were like, this dude's not coming out. He's not ready. So when you put him on a list like that, you know, he works for ESPN. I'm sure it's going to do some bigger numbers if Arch Manning's on the list. I get it. We've done stuff for Bleacher Report for similar reasons, and so I understand that. But even Lenore Sellers, right? The talent was there. The production wasn't there. He is the preseason Anthony Richardson. If everything goes right, he rocket ships. This week, things were going right, and then SC hit the skids, and they ultimately lost to A&M. When you look at this class, though, to me, it comes down to 3 players. It comes down to Klubnik, comes down to Nussmeier, comes down to Aller. Aller wasn't a player I really believed in anyways, but the tools are there. People liked him. They said if he built off of last year, it could be great. Klubnik was actually pretty good last year. So him being really bad is a big problem for the QB class, and Garrett Nussmeier was obviously pretty good last year as well. Very bad at LSU this year. I wouldn't say that things are drastically different from how they are usually. Just this is like the worst case scenario for a draft class where you have, 3 or 4 guys. Now 6 is a little bit overkill because Levitt's a good quarterback, but again, putting him all the way up in the top 10 is a little crazy. But even if you got 3, usually one's going to be really bad. One's going to be okay, and one's probably going to rise and be the guy in the class. When all 3 of the guys that at least projected as top draft picks really shit the bed, and you have the Lenora Sellers, the absolute project freak athlete, hits the skids. You got Sam Levitt at Arizona State, the awful. Like, it's a worst case scenario for a class.
Yeah.
And I think that's where it's like, I don't want to overreact, but it's certainly not a very good draft class. And clearly these quarterbacks either should have came out last year, or they're not as good as we think they are. But what is your opinion on all six of these players?
So this wasn't just Field Yates as well. This was just about every draft analyst. There was some combination of these six as the top 3, 4, or 5 in the class. I just, watching this past weekend, this popped back up, and I was like, man, I can't think of a year where it was this bad from the start to the finish. Like this bad with that many level of quarterbacks, which just shows it's probably going to be a very fun, interesting, and non-consensus filled 2026 NFL draft. But let's get back to the NFL, JRich. Some more NFL news and notes. We saw a historic performance. My goodness. Jay, I don't know who had it on the bingo card this week, but my goodness, Bryce Young was surgical. I don't know who had, dude, stop. I don't know who had 448 passing yards on the menu for Bryce Young. Surgical, 31 for 45, 448 passing yards. Bryce Young had only cleared 200 yards once on the season. JRich, he had only cleared 200. And you're telling me he doubled up? 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. He was sacked 5 times, but hey, that's okay. Right, James Pierce and Jalen Walker, good edge rushers for the Atlanta Falcons. But Bryce Young, I mean, in the passing chart, there wasn't an area of the field that Bryce Young didn't want to insert himself. He was all over the place. Awesome. You want it deep, I'm going to give it to you deep. You want it short, I'm going to give it to you short. You want it in the middle, I got all of that covered. Bryce Young green dotting that field up all day long. JRich. Xavier Legette balled out. But the biggest baller was their first-round pick, Tyrone McMillan, who we had talked about at great length this past week. The incredible usage. We pulled up the Trinity. What did we talk about? Dear God, if he had a quarterback. You get used like this, your top 15 in targets, your top 10 in red zone looks, your top 10 in route participation, your top 10 in air yards. If they can find a quarterback, Tyrone McMillan could take us to the promised land. And you know what happened on Sunday? They found a quarterback, JRich, for at least a week. They found a quarterback, and he was damn good. Bryce Young was surgical. Tyrone McMillan, 130 yards, 2 touchdowns. Talk about Bryce. Talk about the ice water in his veins. Talk about the Carolina Panthers currently 6-5 and a half game out of the division lead. A half game out of the division lead for the Carolina Keep Pounding Panthers. Bryce Young, talk about it, Jay.
Yeah, I mean, Bryce Young this season has been a lot better than people are going to give him credit for, us included, right? You know, we talk about how the Panthers win games. We're talking about Bryce Young now, but, you know, we could have given Bryce Young some more credit. We talk about how the Panthers win games in spite of Bryce Young's lack of passing effort, right? And this is a game where when I told you I picked the Panthers to win, it's because I thought Rico Dowdle would be the reason why they'd win this game.
We thought Rico was going to ball out.
I said their strength is taking the ball out of Bryce Young's hands, and they did the exact opposite. They gave Bryce Young every opportunity to go out and win the game, and he did exactly that. Bryce Young was great. And this is where it sucks, because you ask me the question right now, do I think Bryce Young is going to be this good, or even like 60% of this going forward? I would say absolutely not. I'm going to take the 3-year trend that he's played throughout his entire NFL career over what we saw in this one game, even though I do think you look to the end of last season, he ascended. You look to this season, he's playing a little bit better, but he's not quite there yet. But when you go back to college, there is these types of performances in the locker for Bryce Young. We know that he has this kind of ability in him. It's just few and far between as to when he actually makes it happen. But when you have Legette, when you have McMillan, when you have a capable running game, which they still ran the ball 25 times for only 67 yards, they had that balance. And Canales talked about after the game, they used just about every single play they had on the call sheet, and they swept the Atlanta Falcons on the season, second in the division. Great performance from the Panthers, phenomenal from Bryce Young, and great to see McMillan get big fantasy numbers for once, because we know he's had the target share, he's had the Trinity, and he finally all put it together against the #1 pass defense per yards per game in the NFL.
Yeah, career highs for McMillan. 12 targets a high, 8 receptions high, 130 high, 2 touchdown high. And he was used all over the field. Short, intermediate, deep, dig routes, corner routes, crossers, stop routes, hitch routes, out routes. He ran the full complement of wide receiver weaponry. He was outstanding. Bryce Young was great. You see the stat right here, JRich. Most passing yards in a game by a Panther in franchise history. You've got some greats, Jake Delhomme. You've got Cam Newton, of course. Kerry Collins spent some time in Carolina. None better than the 5'10", 195-pound Bryce Young, who damn near throws for 450 yards and 3 touchdowns in this game. Big time shout out to the Carolina Panthers. Again, 6-5 and a half game back of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers for the division. On the other side of the ball, Raheem Morris ought to be fired. He's got to go. You know,
you know who else needs to go?
I'm all for my people getting head coaching opportunities, JRich, but he's got to go. Raheem Morris, he has got to go. I mean, and here's the thing, man. James Pierce, you watching ball? Y'all watching ball? James Pierce and Jalen Walker look good. Like, they're going to be good for a long time. But that damn pick is about to be a top 5 pick. That'll be a top 5 pick for the Rams. The Rams, who are 8-2 on the season, about to get a damn top 5 pick. Yep. To just load up on whatever's there
pick right now,
or trade back. I'm just saying.
That's crazy, man.
I'm just saying.
Pick right now. They better start winning some games. Who does Atlanta got on the schedule?
They're not winning shit. They're not winning anything.
They got New Orleans. They got the Jets.
They're not winning a damn thing. With Kirk Cousins, no Drake London. Didn't you just say Penix is hurt?
Yeah,
this was supposed to be a top pass defense. They went out there and got eviscerated by Carolina.
Yeah, because they went all in on the run. They stopped the run, which they normally don't do. They went all in on the run, stopped the run effectively, committed all the resources to the run game, and they got shredded. But that's on Raheem Morris. Right? This is where, when you hire defensive head coaches, they still have to perform on defense. Like, you can't just shit the bed defensively against the Carolina Panthers 2 games in a row. Like, this is now back-to-back games. They've allowed 30 points to the Carolina Panthers. That's embarrassing. 60 points.
Somebody said the Rams taking a QB.
I mean,
just because they have
maybe might have to.
Just because they have the flexibility. I don't know. There are a lot of people now that are iffy on that Ty Simpson, Jay. That they don't know about Ty Simpson now. He
struggled a bit this week.
It wasn't.
I still like John Mateer, right?
No,
he's not ready, but I still like him.
No.
He's got that boxy.
John Mateer has tumbled down the ranks, JRich. He is coming back for the 2026 season. Hey, the 27 class is shaping up to be pretty damn good. 27 shaping up to be all right.
Everyone that's eligible that you want to draft is going to stay.
They're all going back.
They're going to be in 27.
They're all going to go back. And then we'll have Sellers, we'll have Moore, we'll have like Simpson, we'll have Carr.
It started to be like 2024 when guys stayed back and we had a loaded QB class, right?
Mm-hmm.
But we'll see.
Good for Carolina this weekend, man, for real. Good for Carolina. They keep finding ways to win. You love you some Canales, too. You love you some Canales.
I like Canales a lot.
You love him.
Like, they got the 49ers. They got the Rams. They got the Bucs, the Seahawks, the Bucs. The other game is the Saints game, but that's their remaining schedule. That's a game. That's a schedule that's 1-5 written all over it, depending on how they play the Bucs. Right? They're not going to beat the Niners. They're not beating the Rams. They're probably not beating the Seahawks. Maybe they can beat the Bucs once, but I don't know. We'll see, man. Tough schedule for them remaining.
Let's talk about Patrick Mahomes, because they now sit 5-5 on the season, JRich, and it was supposed to be RJ Harvey season. JRich, supposed to be RJ Harvey season.
He got 11 carries. He led the team in carries. He had 50% of the team's rush attempts.
I don't know. No,
he did.
No,
that is a fact.
No. We're not about to adjust the goalpost. It was supposed to be Harvey smash season. What did we say? I'm not sure. So this is a tough matchup. The Kansas City Chiefs have only given up a 100-yard rusher to a rookie one time. That was Kenneth Walker back in 2022. And we've got Sean Shenanigans out there. So you knew there was going to be some other involvement. And McLaughlin didn't take a lot of snaps, but he got the goal line touchdown. You knew it was coming. He was on the field early. They did not commit to running the ball the same way they did with J.K. Dobbins. You know why? Because Dobbins is a pretty damn good running back. Because J.K. Dobbins is pretty damn good at playing the running back position. You can give me all his usage. Sure, we'll follow it. They got a bye week this week, right? So they got a bye here in week 12. I believe the Denver Broncos have a bye. So
that is correct.
What do you do between now and week 13? Because Dobbins is out. Dobbins is on IR. We know he's not going to play anymore. Would you use this opportunity to move Harvey, or are you like, it's going to work itself out? It's going to work itself out. Where are you with this pairing? This was not the game that anybody wanted out of those two running backs. But in the spirit of bashing quarterbacks, JRich, Bo Nix keeps getting bashed. Look at these pictures. They got Bo Nix looking legendary on here.
They tried to write him off, right?
They tried to write him off, JRich, and Bo Nix and Sean Payton yelling at him all the time. They didn't write back. 65% of his passes, 300 yards against the Chiefs, 9-2, 8 straight wins, firm control of the AFC West that is falling apart right now. Continue to hate, continue to criticize, but just know all he does is win, baby, win, right? Look at this image. Look at this. They got Bo Nix. I mean, this is AI Nix right here. 5-game winning drives, big time throws to Troy Franklin. This is AI Nix. And then you look at his passing chart, 295, 6'4", and a season-high 171 yards on passes over 10-year air yards, including that 32-yard corner strike to Troy Franklin to set up the game-winning field goal.
Nasty throw.
It was a nasty throw.
It was a nasty adjustment by Franklin, but it was a nasty throw to throw it in the blind spot of the corner.
It was a nasty throw.
And
talk
Franklin
about Knicks. Talk about this Broncos team. Talk about Harvey, and then we'll go to Kansas City.
I will just say, Ray, that while the offense has struggled, it is so validating because of how much we talked about the Broncos defense and how this defense can literally win them games. And I don't think the scariest part about this team is who is it the player on the Broncos that nobody's talking about right now because they continue to win? Their defensive player of the year, who is not even playing, Patrick Surtain, and they have not missed a beat. No one is talking about how the defensive player of the year is not even on the field for this team. True. And they continue to win games every single week. Say what you want about Bo Nix. Say he's not a good quarterback. For whatever reason, this is just his season. And he is playing phenomenally when it counts. He's not good in quarter 1, 2, 3. But in quarter 4, when it's winning time, Bo Nix has been phenomenal. He's doing it with Pat Bryant. He's doing it with Troy Franklin. He's doing it with Evan Ingram even, who was catching passes out there. Cortland Sutton, just another guy on the offense right now, unfortunately, people who love Cortland Sutton. But he's doing it with everyone offensively. The offensive line is still phenomenal. They have hardly a running game now, especially with J.K. Dobbins out. But Bo Nix is delivering. They are 9-2. They are in the driver's seat in the division. And especially with the Chargers losing, there's almost no way they should drop this division now. They should win it. They're having a great season. And just like Drake May, 8 straight for the Denver Broncos and Bo Nix. Unbelievable.
8 straight.
They're playing so well right now.
8
Very
straight.
difficult.
Yeah, they're playing great. On the other side of the ball, Kansas City. I don't know how much of it you watched, Jay. Mahomes he looked a little off in this one. There was a play, I believe it was in the first quarter, back-to-back deep shots. Xavier Worthy wide open. I mean, wide open down the field. Mahomes overshoots him. Like, how do you overshoot? How do you overshoot Worthy? Overshoots him, and I believe on that same, it might have been the very next play, it was a deep ball, or a couple of plays later, it was a deep ball to Tyquan Thornton, where he was off on that one as well. Rashee Rice was clanking stuff off of his hands. Kelsey was the best option out of the receiving game. You know, the offense it's tough, man. They
got suffocated, man. They got suffocated by an extremely good defense. And the biggest thing here, and this is where, like, this Denver Broncos defense is the great equalizer. They sacked Mahomes 3 times. Sacking Mahomes is not easy, right? But we saw against Buffalo, he really struggles right now under pressure. He has not done a good job dealing with pressure, and when you pressure him a lot, it makes things extremely difficult for him. And they hit him 8 times yesterday. They blitzed him a ton. They got him off his spot. They made things difficult. And when your defense is literally leading the NFL in sacks by a wide margin and able to generate the pressure they do, it makes things a lot easier on the back end. And they still have phenomenal pass catchers. They still had, 2 pick sixes called back because of penalties. Like, this defense is playing at an extremely high level, but at the same time, Ray, there's definitely questions to be asked, like, where is this Chiefs team and what are they doing? Because they don't look like the Chiefs teams of the past, and we'd all admit that, but this is the team that won every single one-score game last year. It's the same team, except you can't get away with doing that 2 seasons in a row, and that's why I think they're 5-5.
Ricky, I agree with you. He said it would behoove the Chiefs to invest more in the 7th on a running back at some point in time. I agree. I absolutely think they can upgrade that position. I don't think that's why they lost this game. But yeah, Kareem Hunt's, he's giving you all he can in that old body. He's a physical running back, but there's not a lot of juice. There's not a lot of explosiveness there. He had 60 yards, touchdown. So, he's going to score every week. He's going to fall in the end zone. But I don't know. It's the deep shots that play to Worthy would have been a tone setter, because it would have been like, okay, they're opening that up. Kelsey did good underneath. You open some things up for Rice. It just, I don't know what it is right now, Jay. I don't know what it is, but you are what your record is, and they're 5-5 on the season right now. They haven't been able to connect down the field. Somebody asked in the chat. That's what you're
saying, right? It's like, it's hard to facilitate an offense that primarily moves the ball short and in the intermediate when you can't hit the deep ball. Mahomes has done a terrible job recently forcing the defense back, forcing safeties back, right? Everyone talked about, everyone just plays Mahomes too high, so he can't throw the deep ball. No, there is opportunities for him to hit the deep ball, and he's missing them. So when teams are playing them in lower coverages, close to the line of scrimmage, stopping the running game, stopping the short passing game with Rice and Kelsey, and you can't hit the deep balls over the top, that's when you're just not doing a good enough job offensively. And that does fall on Mahomes, because plays have been schemed open. Receivers have been doing their job getting open deep, and Mahomes has not done a good enough job to blowing the top off the defense and making sure that they respect that he can throw the deep ball. Because right now they're not respecting it, and it's working out for them because he hasn't been able to capitalize on it.
A lot of people saying they should have gave up the third for Brees Hall. Should have gave up the third for Brees.
I'm not between the Eagles.
I'm not
Chiefs,
dumping
right?
on Hunt. Hunt does what he does. It feels like he maximizes every carry to his ability at this current stage. But I also think, as somebody said in the comments, there's just no fear. Like no one fears the ground game of Kareem Hunt. So that play action shit is just really not going anywhere. Like, we know you're not going to hand it off. So we'll force you to try to hit these deep shots that you guys have not been able to do as a unit over the last couple of years. Hell, since Tyreek Hill. Multiple years. It has not been a good deep ball system. I don't know what it is. Very disappointing season for Worthy. It started off bad in the first game where he got hurt for multiple weeks, and then Rice is back, and then it just has not worked out for him in that offense this year. They tried, couldn't connect deep. Chiefs are 5-5, and they're on the outside looking in big time because Denver's got such a commanding lead in this division. So,
and they have Indy this week.
Who? The Kansas City Chiefs?
It's at home, but they have Indy this week.
Well, let's talk about another team, Jay, who got their band back together. Brock Purdy was back in action, and Brock Purdy was good. 200 passing yards, 3 touchdowns, 133.5 passer rating. Purdy and the 49ers dismantled the Arizona Cardinals. JRich, George Kittle was outstanding in this matchup. They won 41-22. McCaffrey, he was good on the ground, awesome through the air. You look at the 49ers since 2022, you can say what you want about Mac and all these other quarterbacks. With Brock Purdy, 27-15, 3 touchdowns a game. Without Brock Purdy, 10-9, 2 touchdowns a game. They're averaging 7 more points per game with Purdy, higher third down percentage conversion with Purdy, and higher fourth down percentage with Brock Purdy. He is a difference maker for the 49ers. He operates this offense like nobody's business, and he got the playmakers the ball. George Kittle is the one. He got back to looking like old George Kittle. 2 touchdowns in that game. Ricky Pearsall tried to give it a go. He clearly was not 100%. I mean, he was hobbled. Yeah. I think he had 1 catch, or he may not have even had a grab in the game. No, he didn't do anything, Jay. He
1 for 0, sorry.
What'd you say?
1 catch for 0 yards on 3 targets.
Yeah, I was going to say, he didn't do much. Kittle had a big game. 50th receiving touchdown in the win for the 49ers. On the other side of the ball, we saw Jacoby Brissett go off, JRich. 47 completions, which was an NFL record for Jacoby Brissett. NFL record for completions for Brissett. And, Jay, Michael Wilson Mike Wilson. Here was a tweet.
Big Mike Wilson.
Michael Wilson in your flex spot. He was out there looking like prime Larry Fitzgerald. JRich. 7% of people started him. He had 15 catches, 185 yards. The most receiving yards by any player in a game this season. And I don't remember who it was. But somebody in this wake-up chat on Friday asked a question about Michael Wilson. Somebody did. And we were like, no way. It's going to be on McBride. McBride had another good day. 100 yards.
He did.
I mean, he was awesome. Tight end 1 on the week. Trey McBride was awesome. Michael Wilson did what Marv could only dream of doing. 15 for 185, Jay.
Yeah, Michael
What's
Wilson
the takeaway here? What's the takeaway here?
I mean, let's give Brissett some credit. He did complete an NFL record 47 completions, but on only 57 attempts. Like, that is ridiculous in terms of just efficiency.
Ridiculous.
But Michael Wilson probably shouldn't go away, right? Like, we'll see what happens because Brissett probably will be the quarterback next week. But if you're Marv, you got to be looking over your shoulder a little bit because Michael Wilson's still on the field. He still gets opportunities sometimes, but usually the ball goes to Marv, then it goes to McBride, or in vice versa. It doesn't really go to Michael Wilson as much. It may go to Greg George over the middle. But if you're the Cardinals offense, like, how do you not scheme up more plays for Michael Wilson? How do you not turn some of those Marv plays into Michael Wilson plays? Or at least just try to find ways to utilize him because he was utilized all over the field. He wasn't just an outside receiver. He was all over the field. And so why can't you find 3 receiver sets or 2 receiver sets with Trey McBride, obviously, where you have Marv, Michael Wilson, and McBride? Because if he's going to play even, let's not even say this level. Let's not even say 50% of this on a consistent basis, because even that is extremely high output. But even if he can give you 5 receptions for 50 yards every single game, which based off this performance, he probably should, you would have a very competent passing attack with Trey McBride, Marvin Harrison Jr., and Michael Wilson. That could easily account for almost 200 yards a game through the air. And with 3 pass catchers should be very doable. It's all going to come down to who's playing quarterback and whether or not you actually want to give Wilson that opportunity, because the problem is Marv was still drafted very high. And they're still trying to justify that, what was it, 4th overall selection?
4th overall.
And I think that's not going to go away. They still got to give him those opportunities. Still have to justify that draft pick. And as good as Michael Wilson played, he should see more opportunities. But I don't know if it's going to come at the level we'd hope off a performance like this.
People are asking, does he get a 5th year? Confidence in Marvin Harrison Jr.
Does Marv get a 5th year? It's his 2nd year, isn't it?
Yeah, it's his 2nd year. I mean, I think
we don't know
yet. I think we're a little.
I feel
early
like
on
we
that,
know the answer is probably no, but maybe he can turn it around.
I think it's way too early to go that far, but he's been a disappointment. And when you see another, I mean, in the mock that I did, I had Arizona taking a damn receiver at 11. Like, I had him taking a receiver at 11 because I was like, they need to add somebody else. But
there was a lot of reports they may take Golden as well, right?
Good thing they did not do that. So if they attack one, here's the year to do it. I guess the takeaway is, let's see how long Marv is out for. I don't know how long the appendectomy takes to recover from, but
we'll see.
Health first, but this was good for your McBrides, and this was good. Bam Knight also had like a 80-yard play called back. Ridiculous. I needed that those Bam Knight points. Had that one called back. Jay, let's keep it pushing. And where's D-Bro at? D-Bro.
Is he here?
D-Bro. Where you at? Where you at?
D-Bro single.
Where's that D-Bro at? Is he in the chat today? Normally when we call his name, somebody get D-Bro in here. JRich, talk about your boy. Your boy.
My boy. Oh,
9.
God.
JJ McCarthy has 9 turnovers this season. That is the tweet that's on the screen right now. That is the tweet that is on the screen right now. Talk about 9, JRich. The world was ready to proclaim him the comeback kid. You hate Bo Nix because all he does is win. They were ready to give him a gold jacket because he did it again. He looked awful.
For 3 quarters.
Awful for 3 quarters. And then his 8 pass attempts in the 4th quarter, somehow he channels his inner Dan Marino, hits Jordan Addison. They go up with mere seconds left. Devin Duvernay returns a kick 50-something yards. Then they try to run the ball. They get no damn yards running the ball up the gut. So the field goal attempt is like 65 yards away with Shedeur Sanders, and he sneaks it inside the left upright. The Bears roll. They're 7-3. McCarthy loses, and JRich, he was stank. We talked about Justin Jefferson. With McCarthy, 12 points per game. Without McCarthy, damn near 20 points per game. EPA, JRich, McCarthy, awful. Negative .37 EPA per play for JJ McCarthy in this matchup. And then the final tweet is from you. This was an oldie back in September, but still applies. JJ McCarthy right now was seeing the squiggly lines from NCAA, from college football 25-26. That was McCarthy on the game. Vikings lose. JRich, talk about it. Talk about McCarthy. Talk about 9 on the season.
I mean, McCarthy is what he is, man. He's not really a very good quarterback right now, and I think that's okay. You know, a lot of people wanted to say he was the next big thing, and I'm fine with that. You know, you want to call your shot, that's your guy, okay, whatever, but he didn't play well. And this Bears defense really isn't that good. But it's funny that the game went the exact same script. The Bears, you know, to be fair to Caleb, he didn't look that good either.
He wasn't that good. He was not
even
that good.
Early on, he wasn't very good, but they moved the ball, they scored some points, blah, blah, whatever. You get to the 4th, and then 9 comes out. They starts lighting up that Bears defense. You think, oh, they pulled off the victory yet again. And somehow, some way, the Bears eked it out to get the split, which both you and I called for this game. But yeah, it's just, look, McCarthy isn't there yet. Maybe he can get there, but this team's got a lot of work to do, man. They're 4-6. They're dead last in the division. They aren't playing good football. Defensively, they're okay, I guess. Depends on the game. You talk about Justin Jefferson. I traded him in a league this past week because I'm not of the belief that he can support Justin Jefferson. I'm just not. So I think that's where, for me, it's like, what do you do if you are heavily invested in McCarthy? And what do you do with this offense? Because how is this offense any different than any other average to below average offense?
Hey, and
it's just not very good.
I know
and
a lot
9 hasn't been very good either.
The coping is already in the chat. This defense is one of the worst in the league too. It is. It ain't like he was playing, you know, the 85 Bears out there. This was the same Bears team that gave up 42 a week prior. So listen,
it's not a good defense, and he should play much better. 50%. 22 QBR.
Y'all want that Shedeur to go out there and light. Man. You guys want Shedeur to go light up the Ravens, cold off the bench. Doesn't even at least McCarthy gets to practice with the starters. He gets to practice with them. He gets to practice with Justin Jefferson and Hawkinson and Addison. But hey, you know, just give him time. It's okay. Shedeur gets out there cold off the bench. He's the worst thing that ever existed at the quarterback position.
Yeah. It's a tough game for 9. Tough game. But, you know, maybe he'll bounce back. Although, I mean, Ray, if you're the Minnesota Vikings right now, you got to be sick, dude. Like,
Darnold was ass yesterday, too.
Hey, Darnold was bad.
He need not play the Rams. He need not play the Rams, JRich. He need not play the Rams.
The Rams, they got his number, man. Like, there's some teams that some quarterbacks, some OCs, whatever, they just don't play well against. Sam Darnold does not want to see the Rams ever again, and they got to play again. But Minnesota, Ray, next week, they go to Green Bay.
Okay.
Then, revenge game. They head to Seattle. This team is going nowhere fast. And their schedule isn't great either.
I don't want to hear it, Jay. This was the greatest coach to ever exist. He could make it work with anybody. Cousins, Darnold. He handpicked the greatest college quarterback in NFL history.
Winner.
You've got Jefferson. You got Addison. And now, after he got and did people hold on, y'all hypocritical folks in the chat? They said Shedeur had all season to sit and learn. He had all year to sit on that Browns bench and learn how to play quarterback, right? What did McCarthy have? A whole goddamn season plus playoffs to sit and learn, right?
And the soft benching, right? Don't forget about the soft benching.
And he had some time this year to sit and learn, right? But no. Give him more time. See, y'all can't have it both ways, man. And I'm not comparing the two because one was a top 15 pick and the other one was a bottom 15 pick, right? But it's just funny how we pick and choose how we want to discuss these players and their maturation and development. It's looking a little suspect in the light, JRich. That's all I'm going to say. That's all I'm going to say. Because he's had multiple, suspect. He had a whole year to sit and learn.
Yeah. He does look very suspect right now. And that's where people are going to go to, oh, he's only started 6 games in the NFL. But I bring this up all the time. There was a point when Anthony Richardson had only started 10 games in the NFL. He's going into year 3, and people are like, this is the year. I mean, we'll see. We'll see if JJ can turn it around. We'll see if KOC can turn it around. But definitely there's some concerns about this team.
My expectation for the 10th overall pick would be a hell of a lot higher than it would be for a 5th overall pick coming in the third, fourth quarter against the Baltimore Ravens. But it's okay. It's okay. I'm just the messenger, JRich. Let's keep it pushing with the final take. Keegan, this is for you. We saved it for the end because your boy, JRich, top 5 offense in the league. JRich, top 6 quarterback in the NFL, Ray. Right? What'd that old Justin Herbert do this weekend, JRich, without Joe Alt? What'd that Herbert do this week?
Stunk it up, man. He was probably the worst game he's played since he played him last time. Right? Since the playoff game when he melted down.
T-Law, 3-0 in his career versus Justin Herbert, including the playoffs. They added that on there to let you know, including the playoffs. Trevor Lawrence, 3-0, the golden one. Your boy, Mr. 275, JRich, gets it done. Gets it done at home in spectacular fashion. I mean, this is a meme. Trey Lance seeing Justin Herbert take that hit. Justin Herbert was out there pummeled. Here's another old tweet, but it's still very much applicable to the Chargers right now. That offensive line is stank. Jay, they show the PFF grades for the offensive lineman. Right tackle, 35th out of 36 right tackles. The right guard, 36 out of 37 right guards. The left tackle, 38 out of 38. The center, 36 out of 36. And then Trevor Penning, no better. No Joe Alt, big problem. And they didn't do. This might have been the biggest collective wolf stinker for the week. Ladd didn't do shit. Keenan Allen did nothing. Gadsden did nothing. Kamani Vidal did nothing. Justin Herbert did nothing. QJ literally did nothing. 6 busts from this team, JRich. 6 of them. 6 of them.
Lord have mercy, I'm about to bust.
It was a very bad week. I mean, we're talking about a team that only had 8 first downs in the entire game to the Jaguars 30. Right? Like, they could barely move the ball. They were under a ton of pressure. They did not look good. And it's so tough because people like this Chargers team. They obviously heavily invested in the Chargers, but you can't be this drastic week to week. Like, you just can't be like this. And it's easy. You know, you could go to the Buffalo Bills and say, well, look how they looked against Miami. Look at how they looked when they went back at home and they played against Tampa. And this is just the NFL. Sometimes you get beat, but yeah, it was a very, very poor performance from the Chargers. All the credit to the Jaguars. They made them look awful. They made them look like arguably the worst team in the AFC West. If it wasn't for the Raiders, they'd be right down there.
Yeah, if you started, it was bad. The lack of tackles absolutely showed up against his pass rush. Josh Hines-Allen, I think he set the franchise record for sacks for Jacksonville in this one. And I mean, this hit that's on the screen right here, I mean, he came through and blasted Herbert. We were watching it. I thought they were going to, he got hit so hard, the ref reached for his flag to throw a penalty, just thinking, like, that had to have been
this has to be a flag.
Yeah, this has to be a flag. And it was not a flag. It was just a solid football hit, but they ended up taking Justin Herbert out to protect himself. Trey Lance was in, and he was no better in this matchup. Basil Tuten and Travis Etienne had big days for the Jacksonville Jaguars. It was a ground game for them. No receiver really did anything. Myers did lead the way with 60 receiving yards in this matchup, but overall, this was a ground and pound game. Tuten looked awesome. Etienne looked good. They looked very good together. We'll monitor the injury reports for Tuten's ankle to see. Hopefully that's not too long term because I want to play him in some spots. And before we get out of here, Jay, I think there was somebody in the chat that said we got a Jacobs injury report. I'm going to go look it up. There was a Jacobs update to the injury. Let's go check to see what happened before we get out of here, Jay. They said there was an update to Josh Jacobs. So let's see. You see anything?
No, I haven't seen anything yet.
Yeah, I'm not seeing anything either. I'm looking. Just an hour ago. That was an hour ago. Just says appeared to avoided a major knee injury. It's a story on Schefter's X account. It's a story. It's from an hour ago, Jay. So
all the big players. I believe it was Jacobs. London was the other big one. Jacobs, London, and then Penix, not believed to be serious, but seems likely to miss time. But all three of those players are waiting on confirmation of MRIs. That will come at some point during today. So for Jacobs, for London, and for Penix, all three projected to get MRIs today, and we'll see what the status of their injuries are beyond that. Dylan Gabriel concussion, and then Aaron Rodgers hand fracture, or fractured in his hand, in his left hand, 50-50 to play this week. May rest, but we'll see what happens with him and his status.
And I just want to put this one out here because it was the early morning game in Madrid. Cool field. That was a pretty cool, how the field was underneath the field. Just high-tech stuff in other countries, Jay. But the Miami Dolphins...
Where they care about the field?
What'd you say?
Where they care about the field?
Where they care about... Yeah, I know, right? The Miami Dolphins beat the Washington Commanders in overtime. And Jay, I'm going to end with this because I thought it was a little crazy when I heard it until I started to look up their upcoming schedule. You know the Dolphins have won 3 of their last 4 games, Jay? Did you know that?
I didn't know that.
They have won 3 of their last 4 games over the Commanders, the Bills, and the Falcons. Their one loss in that 4-game period was to the Ravens. Here's their upcoming schedule. The Saints, the Jets, the Steelers, then the Bengals. Jay?
Okay. Definitely
I think they're about to go on a little bit of I think they can rattle off 4 straight, right? And if they do that, if they rattle off those 4 straight, if they win these next 2 games, JRich, they are 6-7. I'm not saying they're going to the playoffs. What I am saying, I don't know if Mike McDaniel is on as hot of a seat as we thought he was a few weeks ago. I can name 5 other coaches whose seats should absolutely be on fire. And honestly, I kind of want him to stay. Like watching this offense, watching Achane, watching Tua get the ball to Waddle. I think the way that Miami's trending, they are probably going to price themselves out of a quarterback in the draft, which means if you're talking about a veteran, cool. They may keep winning, JRich, and this be the damn team that they have next year, man.
It's very possible. I mean, they're 4-7 right now with the 11th pick. They win a couple games. They could definitely be very high up that list. I mean, you look to their schedule even early in the year. They played the Colts, the Patriots, the Bills right out the gate.
Right out the gate.
Sure, no one expected the Patriots to be very good, but they still played them tight, 33-27. I think we'll see how they play, right? 4 straight.
I'm calling. You got to call it.
Saints and Jets, it's just they're not a very good football team, but we'll see how they play. The issue is, Ray, and here's what you're forgetting. At the Jets, December 7th. At Pittsburgh, December 15th. It's going to be cold during those games.
It's going to be cold.
So Tua's going to have to put on his fucking wetsuit or whatever he has to do to stay warm. But he's going to have to show up in those games if they want to win. And I do agree with you. Like, this team is playing better. They're definitely playing for their head coach. The idea that they quit on Mike McDaniel is definitely false. And we'll see what they can do because the team is coming together. They're playing well, and it's just we'll see how they look. But yeah, they still have an AFC East schedule, right? And the AFC schedules are an absolute joke. And Ray, this kicker is they play the Pats week 18 in New England, and that may be a game that they don't even need.
Yeah, New England may be rested.
Could get a free win that week as well, depending on how things go with seeding and all that stuff. But with how good the Broncos are playing and with the Bills on their ass, we'll see.
All right, JRich, hit the music. That's the show. That's the show.
Big week 11.
Big week 11. Big week 11. A lot of injuries. A lot of QB performances. Some stinkers. Some great ones. Some awesome ground performances. Bijan balled out. Whatever we didn't touch on, we'll touch on some more storylines come Wednesday. But we appreciate each and every eye each and every ear that vibes with us 3 days a week here on this channel. We ask that you support by hitting the thumbs up button, liking the stream, commenting on the video, and subscribing to the channel. JRich, anything you want to say to the people before we get out of here today, my friend?
Yeah, I want to thank everybody for tuning in. It was a great show as always. And for your homework, people, I want you to write in the comments your official 9 rankings going into week 12. We have Matthew Stafford, Bryce Young, Michael Penix, JJ McCarthy, and Joe Burrow. I need your official 9 rankings heading into week 12.
I need a sounder. I need a 9 sounder. I want to add a 9 sounder.
I'll just clip that
to the soundboard. I really, 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 really do. And we didn't give the shame bell out this week, so we got to shame somebody on Wednesday. Somebody's got to get that shame sounder. But make sure you check out the podcast feed. If you're not able to watch this thing live, pull up, check out the other content on the channel. Jay, should I go mock Monday? Should I do a mock today or do it on Tuesday?
A mock, didn't you?
After the Cowboys. Everything has changed now. Everything has changed now, JRich. Everything. We'll save it for later this week. Much love. Y'all have a great Monday. We'll see y'all on Wednesday. Wake y'all asses up. We out. Peace.
Peace.